Let's get right into it. Number 8. Your brain thinks danger is hot. You know that guy who forgot your birthday but remembered to text you at 2 a.m. asking why you D? Yeah, your brain finds that thrilling. Here's why. When someone makes you anxious, uncertain, or slightly emotionally unstable, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol, the same chemicals you get from riding a roller coaster or watching a horror movie. And because your brain is essentially a confused toddler with a chemistry set, it mistakes that anxiety for attraction. This is called misattribution of arousal, which sounds like a fancy term a therapist would charge you $200 to explain. Basically, when your heart's racing because someone's being emotionally unavailable, your brain goes, "Ooh, we're excited. This must be love." No, brain, that's called stress. But your nervous system doesn't know the difference between I'm falling in love and I'm falling apart. It just knows something's happening, and it's convinced that something is romance. Meanwhile, the person who texts back consistently and remembers you like oat milk? Boring. No adrenaline, no drama. Your brain's sitting there like a kid at a museum going, "Where's the chaos? Where's the danger?" Basically, your body's out here treating red flags like they're foreplay. Number 7. You're trying to fix your childhood. Here's a fun game. Think about the worst qualities of the person you're currently obsessing over. Now think about something frustrating one of your parents used to do. Notice any overlap? Congrats! You just unlocked a core memory and a therapy session. Psychologists call this repetition compulsion, which is a fancy way of saying you're subconsciously attracted to people who remind you of unresolved emotional baggage from your past. If your dad was emotionally distant, you might find yourself chasing someone who won't text you back. If your mom was controlling, you might be weirdly drawn to someone who tells you what to wear. It's like your brain is trying to rewrite history by dating a remix of your trauma. The logic goes, if I can get this person to love me, it'll retroactively heal the wound from when I didn't get enough attention as a kid. Except it doesn't work that way. You can't therapy your way through a relationship. You can't love someone into being emotionally available. But your subconscious doesn't care. It's out here playing 4D chess with your mental health, convinced that this time it'll be different. Spoiler, it won't. You're just dating your childhood in a different font. Number 6. The chemistry is literally a lie. Let's talk about that spark everyone's obsessed with. That electric, can't eat, can't sleep, butterflies in your stomach feeling that makes you think you've met your soulmate. Yeah, that's not love. That's dopamine, norepinephrine, and a side of oxytocin throwing a rave in your brain, and they're all lying to you. When you're first attracted to someone, especially someone chaotic, your brain floods with dopamine, the same chemical that makes gambling addictive. It's the "I need more of this right now" drug. You're not in love, you're high. And just like any high, it doesn't last. After a few months, your brain's tolerance builds up, the chemicals level out, and suddenly you're sitting across from someone at brunch, realizing they chew with their mouth open and have no opinions about anything. But here's the cruel part. If that person is inconsistent, sometimes affectionate, sometimes cold, your brain gets more dopamine. It's called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the same psychological trick slot machines use. You keep going back because every once in a while they're sweet to you, and your brain goes, "See, it's working!" No, it's not. You're just addicted to the idea of them, not the actual person. Your brain's out here acting like a lab rat pressing a lever for a pellet that shows up once every 17 tries. Number 5, you think you can change them. There's a special kind of delusion that happens when you meet someone with potential. They're a mess, emotionally unavailable, bad with money, can't commit to a houseplant, but you look at them and think, "I can fix this." No, you can't. You're not a life coach. You're not a therapist. You're just someone with a savior complex and a shocking amount of free time. This is called the Michelangelo phenomenon, except instead of carving a statue out of marble, you're trying to carve a functional adult out of someone who still uses their ex's Netflix login. You start thinking, if I just love them enough, they'll change. If I'm patient, supportive, understanding, if I perform emotional labor like it's an Olympic sport, they'll finally become the person I imagine they could be. But here's the thing. You're not dating who they are. You're dating who you think they'll become. You're in a relationship with a fantasy. And while you're busy trying to fix them, they're busy being exactly who they've always been, wondering why you're so stressed all the time. The worst part, the project never ends. Because the moment you start seeing someone as a fixer-upper, you stop seeing them as a partner. And they stop seeing you as a mom, which is, let's be honest, not the vibe you were going for. Number 4, low self-esteem is wearing beer goggles. If you don't think you deserve better, your brain will find someone who confirms that belief. It's like showing up to a car dealership and saying, "I'll take the one that barely runs." Low self-esteem doesn't make you humble, it makes you a magnet for people who treat you like an option. When you don't value yourself, you'll accept breadcrumbs and call it a meal. You'll let someone show up 3 hours late and convince yourself at least they showed up. You'll tolerate being someone's secret, their backup plan, their emotional support human, because some part of you believes that's all you're worth. And the people who treat you poorly, they can smell that. It's like blood in the water for sharks, except the sharks are emotionally stunted commitment phobes with man buns. Here's the psychology. People with low self-worth are more likely to stay in relationships that confirm their negative self-image. If you secretly think you're unlovable, you'll unconsciously pick someone who makes you feel unlovable because it validates what you already believe. It's messed up, but your brain loves being right more than it loves being happy. So you end up in this loop. You pick someone terrible, they treat you terribly, and your brain goes, "See, I told you that you weren't good enough." And the cycle continues because you're too busy proving yourself right to realize you deserve better. Number 3, you're confusing intensity with intimacy. Crying at 3 a.m. because someone left you on red for 6 hours is not passion. That's not a deep connection, that's chaos. But for some reason, we've been culturally brainwashed into thinking that dramatic, volatile, on-again, off-again relationships are somehow more real than the stable ones. If it's not making you lose sleep, lose your appetite, or lose your mind, it must not be love, right? Wrong. That's just trauma with a playlist. Real intimacy is calm. It's boring even. It's someone remembering how you take your coffee and not making you guess how they feel about you. But intensity? Intensity is exciting. It's the kind of relationship where you're constantly breaking up and making up, crying and laughing, hating them and needing them in the same breath. It feels like a movie. It feels significant. But intensity is not the same as depth. Just because something's loud doesn't mean it's meaningful. The problem is, our brains are wired to remember intense experiences more than peaceful ones. You'll remember the fight you had in a parking lot at midnight more than the quiet Sunday you spent doing absolutely nothing together. So when a relationship is full of highs and lows, your brain tricks you into thinking it's more important than the steady, healthy one you're ignoring. You're not in an epic love story, you're in an anxiety disorder with a soundtrack. Number 2, your attachment styles are ruining your life. Let's talk about attachment theory, which is basically the psychological equivalent of being told your entire love life was determined by how your parents treated you when you were 3. Fun, right? If you're anxiously attached, you're the person who needs constant reassurance. You're checking your phone every 4 seconds. You're spiraling if they don't text back immediately. You're convinced that if you're not perfect, they'll leave. And guess who you're attracted to? Avoidant people. The ones who pull away the second things get serious. The ones who need space every other week. The ones who make you feel like you're too much. And if you're avoidantly attached, you're the one running. Intimacy feels suffocating. Commitment feels like a trap. You want someone who's independent, but the second they stop chasing you, you're bored. So you end up with anxious people who cling harder the more you pull away, which makes you want to pull away even more. It's a psychological trap. Anxious people and avoidant people are attracted to each other because they confirm each other's worst fears. The anxious person gets proof that people leave. The avoidant person gets proof that people are too needy. And both of you are sitting there convinced the other person is the problem, when really you're just two people running incompatible software trying to connect to the same Wi-Fi. The worst part? Secure people, the ones who are emotionally stable, communicative, and consistent, don't give you that dopamine hit. They're too easy. So you ignore them and go back to the person who makes you feel like you're constantly auditioning for their love. Your attachment style isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility. And until you deal with it, you're going to keep attracting the exact type of person who makes you miserable. Number 1. You don't actually want a relationship, you want the idea of one. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. Sometimes you're not falling for the wrong person, you're falling for the distraction. You're not looking for love, you're looking for something to fill the void. And the wrong person? They're perfect for that. Because here's what a chaotic, unreliable, emotionally unavailable person gives you. A project. A distraction, something to obsess over. When you're busy wondering why they didn't text back, you're not thinking about your own life. When you're trying to decode their mixed signals, you're not dealing with your own issues. When you're crying over someone who doesn't deserve you, you're avoiding the hard work of actually building something real. The wrong person keeps you in a constant state of wanting, and wanting feels like something. It feels like motion, like progress, like you're doing something with your life. But you're not. You're just stuck in the same loop, convincing yourself that this time it'll be different. The truth is, falling for the wrong person is safe, because if it doesn't work out, which it won't, you don't have to be vulnerable. You don't have to risk being fully seen by someone who might actually love you back. You get to walk away and say, "See, love doesn't work for me." But really, you never gave it a chance. You're not afraid of being alone, you're afraid of being known. And the wrong person will never know you because you'll never let them close enough. So yeah, maybe the real reason you keep falling for the wrong people is because, deep down, you're not ready for the right one. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this, so subscribe if you don't want to miss them.